Well, here we are.
Here we are, and thank you for changing. I am going to move away from making fun of your ties to making fun of your shirt.
Well, I do have a wild side, and doesn't come out that often, but here we go.
Here we go.
We're getting started.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the Dealer Success Summit, and I just want to put that aside for a couple of minutes, because it coincides, and it's kind of the big event of something even bigger, which is making May a recognition of independent wireless retailers and making May officially Independent Wireless Retailer Month.
Right.
And you called me on the phone a number of weeks ago, and I don't even think you said hello. I picked up the phone and you went, "Guess what May is?" So just how did that all start?
Well, I'll tell you. We had germinated this idea of, let me go back to the summit, sorry, of having an event last year. And of course, COVID came along. And so ours, along with every other event, face-to-face event, got canceled. And then it started. And it being kind of a new way of doing business for these guys. It's like, oh no, what's going to happen next? And nobody knew what was going to happen next. And then it was like, okay, retail's closed, close down everything. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, well, you know what? We have these essential businesses. And what was interesting is the essential businesses wireless businesses became essential, right?
Yep.
And so as a result of that, kind of watched what some of these guys were doing. And our business, as far as going out and seeing dealers, gone, right? So I spent a lot of time on the phone, and I said, well, how's it going? And they would tell me, well, we're still open. And I said, how are you still open? And they were talking about like these creative things that they were doing and these curbside deliveries that they were making, and the way that
not just for pizza anymore.
And not just for pizza. Yeah, it was everything. And the way that they were taking care of their customers. What was interesting is carriers were closing their stores. Oh yeah. And the dealers were staying open, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's been research done. Wave Suvin, who does great research, came out with the stats that some of the carriers had closed almost 80% of their stores, high 70s,
right,
of the carrier stores, and almost to the decimal, that inverse number of the independents remained open.
Right.
And so, like you said, everything shut down. Everybody started working from home, and nobody had a chance to get their office phone into their house, so they were all using their wireless devices. And now, because they were working at home, they needed extra charging cables because they needed their phone on, all day during business hours and beyond. And they may have had one or two, and I don't know about in your house, charging cables tend to vanish in my house.
I don't know what happens to it. It's like a sock.
It's like a sock.
Socks disappear. Where did one sock go?
Although if you track down a couple of kids, usually they've got 5 or 6 of them.
I heard that lost, when you lose a sock, it goes into the ozone. I don't know if that's true, but...
So whether it's, just needing a charging cable or a screen repair or upgrading your device to something that was 5G or bigger screen or something, these were, and you said it, and many, if not, and eventually all the states acknowledged that wireless communication stores were essential businesses. Absolutely. And were allowed to remain open. And close to 80% across the country, and it didn't matter what the brand was, and it didn't matter what the carrier was or any of that, they stayed open to allow everybody else to be able to do their jobs at their new office, or as we like to call it, the kitchen table.
And they had to figure it out themselves.
Exactly.
There wasn't any playbook for this. So these guys got creative, and they made it happen. And so we were talking about this phenomenon of how they did it, right? And then we kind of talked about, well, you know what? It's funny. Is over the years, and you and I go back in the wireless industry
we've been doing it a while,
for decades.
Yep.
Since we were little tiny kids.
I was 3.
I was 5.
There you go.
And so since then, you kind of look at the evolution of the industry. You can't tell the history of the wireless industry without independent dealers.
No,
it doesn't exist, right? So we were talking about this, and I said, it's funny that there's no recognition event specifically for wireless dealers. And then we watched what happened with the big shows that used to recognize dealers with at least some seminars and these type of things. And all of the big shows, the CES, the CTIAs, the MWCs of the world, literally eliminated their curriculum on the dealer side.
Yeah, very few are still doing it.
And
for
so
sure.
we said, well, why is that when these guys are such an integral part of our economy? Multi-billion-dollar contribution to our economy. And we said, all right, well, let's invent something. And so, okay, well, why not have an independent wireless retailer month? Purpose, nothing else, just recognize the contributions that they make and celebrate the successes of these amazing entrepreneurs that rolled the dice, started with a store or started with a car and stole stuff out of their car. Some of the guys are started,
the flea
started
market
their cars,
booths, absolutely,
right? And then turned it into an industry.
Yeah, and so you made that phone call to me, and I immediately went, the back of my brain went, this is great. Why haven't we done it before? And then, so I wanted to kind of advance it a little bit. So NWIDA actually wrote 52 letters, every governor in the country, plus the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the governor of Puerto Rico, asking them to officially proclaim May as Independent Wireless Retailer Month in their state. And I'll tell you, when the first one came in, I was like, this is just super cool. And then when the next one started to come in, so I'm not, at the time of this, our little chat here, I don't want to say how many. I will say it's multiple states. We're getting more. But we actually have those official, 11 by 17 proclamations that we're going to frame and hang in the NWIDA office and take pictures and show everybody at the summit, which we'll get to. So it's not only, two guys who've been doing this in this industry for a long time going, hey, May is Independent Wireless Retailer Month. It's literally states officially proclaiming this.
Yeah.
And letting them recognize depending on the size of their state, hundreds, if not thousands of workers and heroes during this pandemic who kept pretty much every other business running when all the office buildings shut down. But, the businesses didn't. Just because their physical place of work stopped, they had to figure out how to do that from their kitchen table and from their bedroom and everything else. And it's the men and women, the indirect channel, the independent guys, and I don't care if it's the guy who owns one store or the guy who owns 400 stores. I don't care what the sign on the front of the store says, whether it's a big carrier name, a big MVNO name, or if it's Tony's cell phone hut. Every single one contributed in the same way to keep this country going and running. And quite honestly, it's about damn time they got recognized
That's
for
right.
it.
And the repair guys are included in that as well,
absolutely,
for
sure.
So we said, all right, let's turn this into a movement. I congratulate you for taking the ball.
I'm sorry, is this an Arlo Guthrie song we're getting into? We're going to the Alice's Restaurant Massacre movement?
Hum a few bars.
It's a 20-minute song I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So anyway, you took the ball and started running with it with the governor proclamations. Fantastic idea, great idea. And I came to you guys because you are now the preeminent dealer association. And I thought, well, it just made sense it didn't make sense for this to be a corporate dynamics show. It made sense for this to be an industry show owned and operated and created by the industry. So going out there and asking dealers and saying, hey, what do you think about this? And, the guys out there, they love this idea. And they say, all right, well, what should that look like? What do you want to see happen? And they gave us ideas, and we went out to the suppliers. And they told us the same thing. It was kind of interesting as they said, yeah, you know what? It is about time that there's some recognition. And yes, we've been hurt too by the fact that everything's been shut down. And so they said, here's what we'd like to see. So that helped to build this movement and this month that we now call Independent Wireless Retailer Month, officially, right?
Yeah, officially.
Officially. Yeah. And now we have part of that is the summit that you mentioned earlier,
Yep.
which is an event that's the whole month long. Because we figured at first, we said, okay, well, let's have an event, a virtual event. And then we said, well, you know what? A one-day event, A, isn't good enough, and B, everybody's busy. So it's hard to attend a one-day, all-day event. But everybody can carve out 30 minutes, an hour in a particular day of the week. Yep. So, hey, I can't do it every day of the week. Do it when you can. That's why we have the recorded seminars. So they can go back and they can listen to ideas from other successful dealers. They can listen to keynotes from the big guys in the industry talking about the month and what it means, and recognizing their dealers and dealers at large across the industry for their contributions. So it's actually bringing the carriers in, and the MVNOs and the master agents in to say, you know what, we're part of this too, and we rely on this independent dealer out there to make our business go. So that's kind of how it all germinated, and the ideas just started flowing, and it's interesting is it grows bigger every day. I mean, new ideas come, and I can't even imagine what this is going to look like a year from now.
But let's get through this one first.
Well, you know what? And I hope everybody supports it. I hope the suppliers come out,
yep,
and that they say, this is a good idea. This is important for the industry. This recognition, this celebration. These people who help our business grow.
Yep.
And because without the independent wireless retailers, those suppliers don't exist.
Oh, no, for sure.
So,
you know what's really,
it.
Absolutely. You know what's really cool, and like you said, we've been doing this a long time. There used to be two industry shows that I went to every year. One I'll mention because it's completely defunct, which was PCIA. Back when, people would go wireless data and everybody else would go, what's that?
Right.
I won't mention the other one because it's still around in a smaller form than what it used to be. It used to be huge industry show.
CTIA?
I'm not mentioning.
MWC? CES?
It's not CES, but if you put a couple of letters together,
I'll add
you'll figure it out.
CES in there too, because
But I don't remember. I won't say I've never seen. I'll say I don't remember any conference or anything where you heard directly the seminars, the sessions were done by the dealers, where somebody went, hey, let's go find out the guys who've done this well, who've grown their business, who are successful. And again,
over a long period of time.
Over a long period of time. And again, across brand, across carrier, the front of the sign on the front doesn't mean a darn thing. And let's talk to these guys who are willing to share some of their tips and tricks to the people who are just starting out. NWIDA's pretty active in the relevant social media groups. And I can't tell you how many times we've seen, I'm just starting out, what do I need to look for? And it ranges. It could be a repair shop going, what do I need to put in my contract? Or it could be, how do I need to lay out my store? Or, okay, besides selling devices and accessories, what's another stream of revenue that I can add? Mm-hmm. And we've got people talking on every single one of those points and more, okay? And not only do we have the suppliers doing it, right, which is great, and it's always great to learn about new products and new services that dealers can add and fine and dandy. But to hear from the actual guys who started with one store or out of the trunk of their car, like you said, or a kiosk in a flea market or a shopping cart, a push cart in a mall, mm-hmm. and now have 30 stores or 50 stores, mm-hmm. and to hear from these guys and going, well, here's some of the tricks and tips that we did, and here's some of the stuff that we did that didn't work.
Right.
And, sometimes we tried that and we were like, oh, wow, that really sucked. Let's not do that again. Mm-hmm. But here's what worked. And dealers, can log on, can watch it, can watch it again and again because the content's going to be available, you know, for 2 months after it debuts or more.
If they stay on the Success Portal,
Right.
the brand new Success Portal, which is as a result of this as well.
At least 2 months
We'll
where
talk
they
about that in a
exactly and learn not only from guys who are, you know, used to standing next to fake plants and looking into cameras, wearing crazy shirts.
No,
but-
that's not a bad shirt.
No, that's a great shirt, actually. But to hear it from the dealers in different states, in different regions, selling different brands.
Yeah.
Hearing it directly from them. I don't remember ever seeing that at any show, you know, and I've been doing this since the 80s.
Especially in the numbers that we've got during the month. During Independent Wireless Retail Month. We sought out dealers from every carrier, from every size. We sought out dealers that had downsized
Yeah.
and became more profitable. Because
Right, sometimes
that's
adding more-
that's a formula too, right?
Yeah, the carriers are going to, if you're a carrier or an MVNO, go get a cup of coffee for a second. Sometimes cutting your stores down, number of stores down,
is a success strategy.
is a success strategy.
Right,
And I
yeah.
know, I'm sorry, guys, I know you don't want to hear it, but it's a fact.
And and we talked about dealers that wanted to sell a business and how they went about that. So you'll see that content in there. Dealers that wanted to buy a business, and you'll hear about that. So all of these things, and you'll hear about these just kind of really interesting strategies that you'd never think of before.
Right,
And
proven strategies. Proven strategies. These
session. Let me finish it.
Yeah. Sorry.
So you know, talking about Jose and Jessica, that conversation that we had with their dealership, and telling us about what they did when they were hiring teenagers, is the owner of the business interviewed the candidate and then interviewed, if they were 17 or 18 years old, interviewed their parents.
Yep.
And I went, that is so wild.
And made
Who
them
does that?
And made them show them the report cards.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, what a commitment, right? And he says, we don't have people. I mean, we hear from dealers all the time that, oh yeah, I hired somebody, they didn't show up for work, you know what the deal is. Well, you know, okay, you didn't do your due diligence, first of all. And these guys are making sure that mom and dad are saying, you got to be at work at 8 o'clock. You be there at 7:45 just to make sure, you know. So what a group of people that have come up with these really creative ideas that we have showcased during Independent Wireless Retailer Month. And I'm so excited about it, and really just privileged to have had the opportunity to talk to these folks and worked with them over the years.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. When NWIDA started, so NWIDA,
When did NWIDA start?
NWIDA was an idea in the middle of 2017.
Okay, did you borrow it from YBOC?
We didn't borrow it from YBOC.
Yeah, you did. The Wireless Business Owners Consortium that Corporate Dynamics used to own.
That NWIDA
they
now
stole the idea.
But that now NWIDA merged with.
So yeah, we merged with these guys. So we're kindred spirits.
We are.
now.
But one of the things that we wanted to do from day one was provide content for the dealers to be able to grow their business. That was part of our mission statement from day one.
Which you took from our mission statement at YBOC, almost verbatim, as I remember.
Well, it was part of it. and it took NWIDA a full year before anybody ever heard of us, because, okay, yeah, we have the content, but we have our discounts that our retail members get.
Which is fantastic.
Right.
Which we never did that.
Which, to be honest, we stole from AAA. Okay. But that's fine. So it took us a year to kind of put that together. And as we were putting together the content, we went, okay, so these vendor partners, as we call them.
How many you got?
How many vendor partners?
How many you got now?
Somewhere in the ballpark of about 20.
From 0 to 20 in a very short period of time.
Yep. And to the point where our members now, we just revised the number. We went from $6,000 to $7,800 a year our dealers can save, taking advantage of the discounts that our vendor partners provide.
Is that per store? Or
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Per average dealer?
Yeah. And so we were like, okay, well, we can go back to these guys and get content out of them. You know, what we did was during the last administration, when all the tax laws changed, we got our CPA and accounting firm to do a webinar on how the new tax laws impact retail stores. And it was great, and it was well attended, and it's actually still up on our YouTube channel. And
Check it out.
Check it out. So we've always wanted to do content, but we were doing it kind of like that. We were picking a topic and doing a webinar, and with slides, and it wasn't interactive, and it was great for what it was. But as you and I started to talk about Independent Wireless Retailer Month and about the Dealer Success Summit, and you were like, and we're going to have content every day, new content every day. And I went,
nobody's done that.
Well, my first reaction was, damn, that's a lot of work. But then the second one was, nobody's done that. Look, I'm going to cut it to you straight. This is all very nice. You see where we are. We are in a professional studio that both Mark and I have traveled to. We were here for 12 hours yesterday, just about. We are here for a long time today, making sure that this content looks good. So it's certainly a lot of work on the NWIDA side and on the CDI side, and everybody who's participating. And thank you, everybody who's participating. And you just follow hashtag DSS21, because we're going to be giving him shout outs and links, from now up until May 1st and beyond.
Let's give him one right now. Hey, Mira, what's the name of your business?
Overnight Success Studios.
Overnight Success Studios. Where are you located?
In Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida. All right, so that's where we are right now. We're at Overnight Success Studios in Tampa, Florida, owned by Mira. And I definitely, if you have any kind of video content you want to create, you want to talk to these guys. This place is amazing.
This is a place. I was telling somebody yesterday, and this place just, we're already in front of our second set, and there's two more behind the camera. So yeah, if you need video production,
that's a plug.
There's a plug.
There's your plug, Mira.
And you can look at the link over there. So, but the guys we've spoken to, the gals we've spoken to, and the people who are still scheduled, and the fact that the industry itself is supporting us, the fact that, and I'll throw some names out, the fact that we've got a senior VP from Verizon giving us a keynote, the fact that we have the CEO of Cricket giving us a keynote, the fact that,
and lots more.
Almost
every carrier is going to be represented.
Every carrier. So many MVNOs that I don't want to think of who they are, because I don't want to leave anybody out, and
master agents,
and like you said, and the suppliers. So
and the largest dealers in the country are also giving us content. And people who these guys haven't thought of, new streams of revenue that you would think has nothing to do with wireless, but is available for the wireless dealer to add another It's
stream.
Either here or it's coming.
Right. And the fact that we're recording all this content, it's going to be available. I don't want to go too far down the sales hole on this. You're going to see plenty of our fun little promotional videos pushing it. And this is honestly designed to be just more casual. But the amount of content that we're cramming into 31 days in May is astonishing.
And it's not going to stop. The key is we're going to keep developing new content and keep pushing that content out. So just to kind of summarize our conversation, we're really excited about Independent Wireless Retailer Month. First time anything like this has ever happened.
Thank you to those governors who've already officially proclaimed it, and to the rest of you, TikTok.
Let's go.
We got some time.
Bring it
There's
up.
Still a few of you out there. Let's go.
and we want to thank all the suppliers that have given us great feedback and are bringing it in there.
And
guys,
the prizes.
The prizes. There's going to be prizes at DSS 21, but. This is a movement. We want this to build into something bigger and better year after year. So this isn't a one-time shot, guys. So make sure you're at DSS 21.
This is for you. This is for the independent dealers, the indirect channel. They've been around. I mean, this is my last 30 seconds. When I started
Make it 15.
When I started at Metro One in '87, I opened a lot of the brand new dealers for the first time. So they've been around in this industry since the 80s. It's not always been direct from the carriers. This is something only for you guys. Prepaid, postpaid, carrier, doesn't matter. We're doing this for you guys, and we're pumped.
Yeah.
So
No TVs, no refrigerators, no robots.
nope.
Just
No
just
robots?
wireless. Just
No robots?
So there no robots. No robots. Sorry. All right.
Thanks, guys.